I don't know. Yes, yes, we are live. Okay, cool, cool. Let me share the link with everyone real quick.
As for you.
Yeah, I don't like our openings being like this, but I haven't figured out how to set it correctly to just give people the link. You want to share anywhere, Morgan? Go ahead. Go ahead and post. Right. Oh, right. Oh, nice. All right. Well, looks like we have this all started, everything like that. Let's get to the opening. Thank you for uh wow, I haven't done this in a while. Thank you and welcome to this. Wow, you had to interrupt me, didn't you? Yeah, I do. Right when I started. So it's gonna sound good. One more time. Thank you and welcome to the Spoken Word. I'm your host, Raz, and today I am here with obviously the wonderful and terrible Morgan. Say hello, to Morgan. Yes. With us today is the also equally wonderful and terrible and abusive and
You got any more words for that?
I have a lot of them for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it's delightful as a Pomeranian.
I will bite you.
See? See?
So, as he was about to say, I'm Ashley. Hi.
Is that it?
Yes, that's it.
Really gotta work on that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
Anyways.
There you go.
Anyways, thank you all for coming today. First off, I want to apologize for last week. We ended up, all of us, having some form of medical sickness. It was fantastic. Yeah, I ended up being just a mixture of a nasal infection and allergies. So sneezing, sneezing, sneezing. Oh, it's saying that they cannot hear you, Morgan. Let me check why.
Oh.
I know. That's why this is weird. Not picking up my. For some reason, that's not picking up the desktop audio. So let's figure out what's going on. All right, go ahead and speak.
Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Is anybody there?
All
Yeah,
right.
I was just about to say my leg is very badly broken. Please help me.
Okay. Okay. I think we got it fixed. What is a live stream with me without all the technical difficulties of not being able to hear anyone?
Da da
Ah,
da
no
da 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 da. Like theme music to go in the background. We definitely need some signature. Like, please bear with us whilst we're having technical difficulties. Music to run in these moments.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'm hoping to get like music for the opening so we can actually start it and have it like waiting.
Yeah.
Um and I want to get some art done and everything like that. So right now, just bear with our very
We'll just happily
minimalistic.
talk. We'll just talk shit until, talk fluff for a few
It's
hours.
alright. It's already it was already past 5 minutes. You're actually good. You're already good.
It's a challenge every week. Is the moment you said to me, like, we have to wait at least sort of 3 to 5 minutes before swearing. I was like, this is going to be the hardest part of the whole podcast. Like, my Ninja Warrior challenge. That is it. So well, I'm really pleased we made it.
Oh, me too. I think this is going really great. So, anyways, let's try this again. I'm gonna try to doing the opening again. Please bear with us. Thank you and welcome to the Spoken Word with Raz. I'm your host, Raz. With me today is two wonderfully and terrible women, my girlfriend Ashley and
Hi.
Morgan, the queen cunt herself across the seas.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Nailed it.
There you go.
I think we need this after that week, after last week.
Yeah. I have to say that I just don't feel like I'm old enough yet. I'm probably wrong, but I don't feel like I'm old enough yet to be having the back problems that I'm having right now. So, I mean, obviously I'm on the other side of it at this particular moment in time, but it's every time I've had it, it's gotten a little bit worse. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be on the other side of it. Much happier to be sat in this conversation than to have been sat in my stupor last week. But you know, life continues as always. It just keeps coming at you, doesn't it?
So,
Yeah.
on the other hand, listening to, like, as terrible as that podcast would have been overall, it would have been really funny. Me sneezing, Morgan completely out of it.
Just dribbling down a phone.
And then Ashley, being Ashley.
Murdering you.
Oh, you were so miserable last week.
Yeah.
She was just miserable.
Was that the medical affliction? Was it? It was just a big case of the miseries.
Yeah. Well, no, Ashley has all kinds of problems. She just
Ailments.
her bot.
I hurt all over all the time. And I know that fibromyalgia, my mom has it, so I might get that too, and that might be why.
Oh no.
But I also know that I already have arthritis genetically. So, and I know that's
Yeah.
swelling up my arms right now, and it might be in my knees.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say. If you're a horse, they'd have put you down ages ago. Sorry, I don't mean to be horrible.
Call me a lame horse. I see.
But you're not. You're
Out back
actually
and
like
shooting,
so.
I guess, too.
You're not actually a horse. I said if you were a horse. That was a hypothetical statement. All right.
The year of the horse. That doesn't make me feel any better.
Sorry. I'll get back in my corner.
I could make this totally worse.
So
Yeah, totally worse. You know, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Yes, I see that. So like one of the things with I guess me and my choices that my family don't have like a lot of genetical, like, on either side of the family, like, have any major, like, genetic problems, at least we don't know of.
Right.
So, but for me, it just seems like I keep dating people who have a number of them. I guess I'm just attracted to genetically inferior people.
You're genetically predisposed to be attracted to genetically. Well, no, I'm not even going to repeat that last phrase. I think that was so cruel. but it was also funny. So yeah, but I'm not going to repeat it. No.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, because I disagree with that statement altogether.
Of course.
Remember, I love you for your personality.
It.
I mean, you what, right?
Is that it?
Well, I don't think anything else I would say would be would have to be censored.
Okay. You get a pass. Yes.
I love everything about you.
That's
Okay.
better. There you go.
Just remember the pain that is going to happen to all the generations after.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's going to be this that they can listen to.
Oh shit, that's even more painful than what we're gonna give them genetically.
Could you imagine having kids who listen to like down the line and hearing us talk about?
No.
No,
No.
no.
I almost.
Harold,
I don't know. I tossed
do
out a
you
random
do
name.
you already hate our kids? Do you hear this bullshit?
That's some foresight for you.
Anyway. All right. So let's get this train wreck moving along.
Whenever I'm here, it's not.
Before we get into the important discussion, do you guys have anything you guys want to talk about? Any news or anything that's been on your guys' mind?
Oh,
My
all sorts,
mind doesn't
but-
exist.
What? What?
What?
I feel like she's picking on me.
When don't I?
that was, yeah, I was going to say that's the understatement of the century, maybe.
Okay, well, I guess we could get into the actual main topic. Yeah,
There you go.
main topic.
There you go.
That thing. So, I've been thinking about this, and this isn't anything new. It's just not something I've been focusing too much on. But one of the things that I see very, very commonly, and it's because, like, I don't know the percentages or anything like that, but for a lot of people, younger people, Ash's age and younger, there's been a lot of depression, isolation, fear, like just even people who have friends and stuff like that, there just seems to be this disconnect compared to when we were kids. Making friendships and having meaningful things. Even the bullying and the hierarchy is nothing like where, when we were in school. Oregon.
I know.
And we have an expert here who had to deal with it not too long ago.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, why don't you
Well, I
give us a
mean-
little... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, like, the obvious thing to state would be the fact that it is a different world. Like, the difference in the world between now and 20 years ago is greater than the difference in the world between 20 years ago and 50 years ago,
Yeah.
because of the amount of technology that's available, and obviously throughout social media, and the disconnect between actually socializing with people is so much greater. And it's the argument that you would say that we haven't actually evolved to the sophistication of the technology that we're using, so that learning to navigate it and learning to make relationships with it is something that nobody's sussed properly yet. So how you expect children to suss it when that's what they're growing up in? That's the world that they're growing up in. I think that they're pretty much have been so far removed from each other at this point, and on a person-to-person basis, that the ability to build those social skills is almost gone. already
And
within like 2 generations.
Yeah.
and not to mention, this whole pandemic shit where we're locked down,
Yes.
it's affecting that in a way unhealthier scale. That
Yeah.
they start thinking, no, hey, I don't even have to interact with people now. What makes it a thing that I have to interact with them once it's over? I can just stay in here.
I can tell you something even worse. If this pandemic was happening in like, I don't know, 2001, 2002, 2003, I have a question, Morgan. How many of us kids would have listened to that?
None of
No
us.
matter what.
No, there you like. I mean, you could say what you wanted, but there was like this old abandoned like tree house in the woods down the road from my house where all the kids used to hang out, and like there was the hell or high water was going to keep us away from hanging out there, like and whatever the man said on the TV, we wouldn't have taken it so seriously because nobody spent as much time listening to the man in the box. And it was a box back then.
Well, yeah, like a big part of like I remember being that time period is just even going back to like the swine flu. Just I don't know, there was just a natural rebellion that people would like again it was people didn't just stay inside all the time even with video games already being popular like yeah people would stay inside but it's not like now where kids are perfect people too many people are happy to stay indoors.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but
And
it's
that
been made so comfortable. It's been made so comfortable for them. Like you don't everything that the whole way that you connect with the outside world is pretty much through a box. Like either in a flickering box in the corner or a flickering box in your hand. You don't need anything. Like you press buttons and you get food delivered. Like it really is almost that the cartoon, isn't it? It's like the little meme of the bloke sat in front of the TV and it's just got
I'm
food
thinking
and
about
all of the things like piling into him. Like it's so comfortable now. Whereas you said swine flu, for us it was BSE when we had the mad cow disease, which was what 1999, I would
something like
say,
that.
and yeah, it was crazy in the UK, and they tried. They culled so many cows, and it was bad. And I mean, like I live practically in the countryside, practically not properly, but but unless you were actually going onto a farm, like no one gave a shit. If you went onto a farm, you had to put on your wellies and step in a bucket of blue stuff before you went on, and when you left, and that was about it. No one really cared.
Right.
Like it didn't really affect us that much. Like there was the odd person that had got the infected meat, and it had made them go a bit doolally. But realistically, like you're talking about sort of like 30 to 100 people in an entire population. Like it wasn't enough to stop the world like we are stopping the world now. Not that I would
Yeah.
even argue that is a separate argument in itself as to whether the world should be locked away as it is now. But we won't talk
Right.
about that. But I do agree that this last year, if we hadn't had kids shut down and told them not to go out and communicate with each other, a lot of them would be a lot healthier right now.
Well, I mean, but it's we've got this idea, and I realize this has become a pretty big thing, and for some people it's a lifesaver, but for some people it's not. But this reliant on it's okay, I can be online and talk to my friends and stuff like that. I think a big part of it, and plays a major part in the lockdowns for a lot of people's mental health, is the thought is I can go outside if I want to. I can go do whatever I want. I can go hang out with my friends. That stuff, right? Having the choice
Yeah.
of that freedom. And then choosing to stay inside. I think plays a different role versus that. But the problem with the internet and things like that is people have used it to replace human, communication with people outside of it. That's actually why I'm glad Ashley's here because she's a bit, since me and her have been together for the past 2 years, almost 2 years. She's gotten used to communicating and talking and actually hanging out with people in person compared to the awkwardness that she had before. And really, it just comes down to like, for a lot of people, is they have all this fear and anxiety of communicating. When the only way
Yeah.
to get good at communicating
Is to do it.
is to just do it, no matter what.
And I think that it's easy to underestimate the world of difference between like a human interaction between people when it comes down to body language, like non-verbal communication, like those sorts of things. Like you take away the ability, like when you've got children who are learning how to react in an environment by reading these cues off people, understanding social cues, little things like that that you don't get. You haven't. There is no sense of that through an online communication.
Yeah.
Like actually being able to wait, listen, to actually listen to what somebody's saying and respond in kind in a person to person situation is a really valuable tool. That if you take that away, like the ability to how quickly people lose the ability to communicate, even when you've spent your entire life developing that as a social skill, like
Yeah.
you can lose it really quickly. So to take that away from a development of somebody, I
Well,
think is
yeah.
really dangerous.
Well, yeah, but I think like I said, I think most of these problems we can try to like boil it down to like a few problems, but it really is a multifaceted thing.
Mm.
For me, I think a big I don't think you can just take one thing, fix it, and it'll fix all the problems. Sadly, that's not really how this is going to work. I think it's not just being able to see people; it's having physical people there. Being able to give a hug. You need people don't do that. It's all those things that humans have done forever suddenly being stripped or ignored or thinking they're no longer.
Well, I mean,
Like,
are you going into the esoteric side of it as well? I personally believe that as creatures, we are electronic creatures. Like everything, our brain is controlled by impulses. We vocalize with vibrations, all this sort of stuff. Like there is a vibration you get from being in the presence of another human being as well. No, I think that is something where it's like, when you feel almost like when you're in the presence of somebody else. No, and I think that in itself is just there is so much value in that. Like not even talking, just being physically in the presence of another human being. And a lot of
Yeah.
people, more and more people, like we're lucky if you are in a relationship and you've gone into these sort of like lockdowns or whatever. But there are a lot of kids who spend their time very isolated and have removed that from their lives as well.
Yeah, and then you throw in the fact that there has been, even for the internet, like going back to like 2010, even to 2015, a lot of people were going out and meeting either groups or meeting people and communicating that way, but now people are even scared of doing that.
Yeah.
There's even a disconnect with that where they should have a wide world of meeting new people. There's always new people to meet.
Yeah.
I really believe this with what's been going on for the past, with the last few months when I opened myself up again and joined the Brad and Les channel, How I Met You, and the people I know now. And there's a lot of wonderful people who are willing to listen and hear what you have to say. And that's another thing. It's just people fear being themselves. People fear all of these things, and part of it you can't blame it. Because I find people to be crueler when they want, even if it's only one person, can make a whole thing like that horrible for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that again, like because like I would say that the predominant difference between 20 years ago or 20, 30 years ago when we were growing up to what is going on now is the change in technology. That is the only big difference, and that is why I see the generational difference between me and my son being greater than me and my uncle and my parents, because even though there's a little smaller age gap, because he has grown up in this world that is so vastly different to what I understand. But I think that there is a cruelness. Like again, you take away the any kind of response or an ability to have to actually sit there and take criticism when people or the effects of their actions, sort of thing. You know, you take away the consequence from people and they will be horrible. Like, you know, people online are so mean. Like, you know, and kids are now getting, and you get used to that behavior of where it's okay to be horrible to one another because, well, you're not going to have to deal with it. So, in more and more, you're seeing in interactions in real life, people behaving more like they would online as opposed to, you know, being able to keep that separate, because if it's acceptable in one place, then it should be acceptable in the other. And I think that, I think kids are almost as if kids weren't already cruel enough. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
when they're mean, my God, are they mean?
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Really are.
I mean,
And
we
yeah,
grew up with
when
that too, though. We grew up with that too, though. But we had to deal with it in person a lot of times, and in
yeah,
groups.
and but then there is also to an element like they have to sit there and watch the effect of what they're doing, like
Yeah.
you know, and that doesn't necessarily, even though they're happy, might be okay doing it at the time. A lot of kids don't sit well with themselves, and you know, I don't know about you, but I personally had a lot of my bullies apologise to me over time, because you know, with time. And time to think. And I know that there are times when I've done things that I wasn't proud of, and in growing up, went back and apologised to people for my behaviour, because, you know, you might feel good and big and clever doing it in the moment, but come 6 months later, you've sat 6 months thinking about it night after night and thinking about what that effect had on that person and how you'd not like to be in that position, and you feel bad about it, and you go, you know, and it's good growing as a person. But I think a lot of that's been taken away, because you don't have to see it. You can sit there and bully some kid on the other side of the world for hours and hours on end, and literally send them death threats, and never, ever, ever have to deal with the consequences of that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand trolling. Like, and I know grown men that you know, I've encountered grown men that troll. Like, you know, you don't know me. You have literally no reason to start hurling abuse at me, but you do it anyway. Like, you literally go out and seek out my channel to sit there and then write horrible things about me when you don't know me. Like, and you think grown adults are happy to do that. What is this doing to kids?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I understand trolling, but there is a point where maybe, like, for a lot of people, it's gone too far. And part of this, I guess, thinking back about growing up and stuff for us, is that we ended up having to volume. Okay. So you know, thicker skin, doing all this other stuff that people just don't know how to deal with anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
That was the other thing I was going to say. Was I do just laugh these things off and go, ha ha ha, what an idiot. Someone else won't. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
No. No, it is very much the thicker skin and stuff like that. And again, these things that everyone fails at it to some degree. Like, let's not make it seem like, you know, but it is a good coping mechanism to learn to differentiate who you're dealing with and what you're going to do, and taking more things upon yourself. Like, that's the biggest thing that I will always constantly talk about in this channel, is people thinking about themselves, taking self-responsibility, no matter what is thrown at you, no matter what other people do. You know, remembering you have control over yourself, that you can decide what kind of person you want. Again, this is the stuff that we used to be taught. All of us, our media used to be about this stuff. And now they're teaching the opposite of that. I cannot stand it, because it's and again, it's something that even I took years to do, because it's not like I had a lot of figures in my life, but it's still good lessons. It's things that, even at being 34, has helped my life and bounced me back and put me on a right course. Again, I'm still paying for all my past, I'm still paying for my past in certain ways. Like, again, though, not everything's going to go away there, but, but now I at least have a direction forward in my life. And for a lot of these young people, they don't they think the world, this is the worst thing ever. They're going through their formative years, and they're lost. They don't know what to do, and they get depressed. And they don't realize, and it's not their fault. It's not fully their fault, but they don't understand things like this too shall pass, or that you will grow up. You will eventually be adult. This stuff you're dealing with now is just what you're dealing with now. And if you make the right choices now, regardless of your parents or anything else, if you start, find people that inspire you, find ideals that you actually agree with, think for yourself, build upon yourself, put yourself out there. And again, time is another thing. It takes a lot of time, and not everyone likes that idea either. That time is such an important thing in this, but it is.
Honestly, if there was a lesson that I could teach my younger self, when you think of all the things that you could, if I could go back and teach my younger self anything, and really like the truth in the phrase that patience is a virtue, like
Right.
that time is a healer of all things, like everything. Like one of my favorite phrases now is it'll all come out in the wash. Because it's like, do you know what? There are very few things, apart from death, the only finite and absolute thing on this planet. Like, apart from that, everything will change in time. Like, whatever seems like the be-all and end-all now. And I know that when I was a teenager, and again, pre the world, pre-social media, pre all of this, constant force feeding of how you're supposed to be, or what this image of keeping up with the Joneses, which was only for people that really got into like reading glossy magazines when we were kids. Like, let's face it, no one had that mentality. Everyone just stayed in their lane and was quite happy doing what they were doing. I've sort of lost my train of thought now, but yeah, even back when we were kids, time just passes so quickly. It was what I was saying to you the other day about missing my son at 15, missing a whole year out of his school life. Like, how much happened when you were 14 at school? How much social stuff would happen in the space of 1 week? If you were sick and off school for 5 whole days, my God, it's like the whole world had changed.
You have no idea what happened. You have no idea what happened at school. You don't know the latest gossip. Let's be fair here. Let's actually look at what kids actually care about. They don't care about the tests. They don't care about, like, certain kids do because of their parents, but most kids, are worried what's happening with their friends. But the other side of it is, but when you don't have any of that, like, I'm just thinking back, like, all these kids are just online now. They're not having real life situations that they can gossip online to each other about either. Like, at least now, but
no one can go online and go, oh my God, did you see Jessica the other day? She got these new shoes, and you don't know where they got it at. No, they can't even do that because malls are closed too. Like, so many different aspects of their life are being closed down, and they can't get that social thing. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I thought I'd actually talk.
No, I was actually about to turn to you because, like, again, I mean, you graduated right before. Like, you had the last 3 months.
Right when stuff was starting to kick off.
I mean, your school closed down over the last 3 months of your senior year, but...
Yeah, because we were one of the first places to actually close down at the beginning, like, very beginning of stuff. And so I didn't actually have a proper graduation or anything like that because they closed down at the end of my school year.
Yeah.
And that alone was like, it felt like shit was taken from you because imagine you're going through your senior year and you've hyped up all this, all of that. People are like, yeah, I'm going to come to your graduation, all this.
Well, at this point,
have an actual graduation.
At this point, you would have spent pretty much the majority of your life working towards this one moment. I mean, how many years do you spend? I mean, you guys spend more time in actual school than we do, but if you once you've done all of the years and you're actually graduating high school, like the percentage of your life that you've spent in school every day working towards getting to that point where you can walk out of that school and go, I'm done. I got all my grades. I'm done. It's so much, and you have been robbed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And on top of that, if I remember right, prom was also canceled. So say people had
Can you imagine?
say some people hadn't had their prom for the previous years. How my school worked was we had it for the juniors and seniors. So say you didn't go on your junior year and you went on your senior, it's canceled. You can't go. Prom is fully done for you. You no longer have that chance. You're robbed of both prom and your wall.
I'm like, I'm feeling it in my soul here. Like, if I could like play the clip from Mean Girls when the principal loses his temper and tells them that the spring fling is cancelled, and everyone just and you just see the horror on everyone's faces. That was the moment I felt that. Oh my god! So did you not get a prom at all?
I got it for my junior year. I did do that. But
not the big senior like end of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get to finish you didn't get to finish. And the worst part for me and for her, I think, was, actually, when she met me, she was not doing great in school, and I helped her get where she actually wanted to graduate, wanted to make sure all of her stuff
happened.
Yeah, she finally sat down and was making choices for her life for what she wanted, and it was kind of taken from all of that. And even if it was for 2 months, she put in so much work in that 2 months to make things better for herself. And like, that's another thing. It's like, can you imagine all the people who started out in 2020 who were finally getting their lives together? Yeah.
No, I can't imagine what that must be like at all. yeah. Trust me, there's a reason I'm so particularly bitter about it.
Yeah.
So I feel you, but no, I feel for you, Ash, because you know what, it does. If nothing else, you deserve a sort of congratulations and a recognition for the amount of work that you put in. And if you're the sort of student, regardless of whether you worked hard your entire school life or whether you've got to the end and sorted yourself out, which is what I did, and put the work in and make sure that you stay all through that, those last few days with flying colours, and you get to pat yourself on the back. Like, I'm sorry that it's cruel that you got cheated of that personally, because it's a long time, it's a lot of life to have spent working towards something to not at least get your plastic parade at the prom. Like, it is all plastic, but you know what, it's a good laugh, isn't it? You have so much fun. It's just about going and seeing your friends and then going to some kind of after party afterwards, and yeah, I bailed out of my prom really early, but we had a great house party, so it was great.
To be fair, like I said, I went my junior year, so I knew how that was, and honestly, it was kind of shit. I kind of hung out in a corner with a friend of mine, and we were just there. That was it. We didn't dance. In fact, all of the songs were some weird rap shit. And any of the other songs were remix raps of other songs. Like, I this is the funniest shit. I remember I looked at my friend and I was like, is that Caillou theme but rap?
Oh my god. Oh, okay, let's not dive into that social kind of hell. Like, oh.
Yeah, it was
just
bad. I know one of the Frozen songs came on. And I'm pretty sure it's the one that was You Wanna Build a Snowman? but it
Yeah,
has raps over it and remixing, and I hate.
yeah, it's not about the actual prom, but it's about getting dressed in a
Best
pretty
part-
dress and having a nice photo and then going out with your friends afterwards.
Right, but the best part was I remember that there was literally a list that was created by the students. This was a student requested playlist for the prom. So that
Ugh.
means someone requested a remix rap version of Do You Want to Build a Snowman?
Oh man. You know, it's really funny when I met Ashley, like her taste in music, she's got some weird shit that I do not understand at all. Do not get me wrong here. But a lot of her taste and my taste are like a lot of the same, and people did not like her music, even though it was a lot of like 90s, 2000 alt rock and shit like that.
I don't
So
know.
I don't think I've ever met someone with the exact same taste in music as me, but my music taste is so eclectic that there's not many people that I can't find some kind of musical affinity with. But
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm the
there's no
same way.
one person that I could look at and be like, "Oh, your playlist is the same as mine." Like my playlist is an amalgamation of everything.
Yeah, same.
Well, I don't even mean that we like necessarily have the same, but again, when I say taste, like again, chances are mining like for me, I haven't the same problem. I'm a very eclectic. She's very eclectic with her music. So it's just a hodgepodge of stuff, and he's introduced me to a lot of new music I like.
Yeah, the more likely thing to happen is he'll listen to a song, I'll kind of peer over, listen in, and go, "Hey, I like that." However, it is not very likely for the other way around.
Okay, so that
He
is
will
exactly
listen
what it's
in
like
and
in my
go,
house.
"Fuck that."
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes in my house. It's Alex puts something on and I'm like, that sounds really good, and then I'll put something on and he's like, you have got such awful taste in music.
That sounds familiar. That sounds so familiar. Oh my god.
The
I
amount of
listen
times.
to everything. I literally listen to everything.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Things
See,
you
and
don't
this is
think is music, I still listen to.
yeah. I'm a sucker for a parody as well. So
Oh, me too. Me too.
yeah.
I love. I actually like parody songs more than she does.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
it's true.
Yeah. No, I'll tell
Ah,
you something
wish
really
I-
funny for me. I'll tell you one thing really funny for me. I actually like musicals. Weirdly enough.
Right. So this is something that me and Alex got together, and he was like, "So I really like musicals," and I was like, "What, really?" But he likes classic musicals, and I like all musicals. So he'll sit and watch
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera, Les Mis, all of that sort of stuff. Whereas I'm like all over some of the slightly newer stuff. So I really loved oh, what was it? The Hugh Jackman's one that he's just brought out.
Oh, I know what it. I know what it is.
Yes,
I haven't heard it,
yeah.
but I haven't heard it yet. I like a wide range myself. I like a lot of the classical ones, but I also now big part of that is growing up with them is
Yeah.
a big part of it. The other part though is like when we get into some of the newer stuff, I like Avenue Q is one of the best ever. If you've never
What
heard
is?
it, Avenue Q.
Right, okay. I think he mentioned it to me.
If you can find it, find the original cast because it used to star Gary, what is his name? Gary, the guy who was short. I can't think of his name.
You're talking to the wrong person right now.
What you talk about, Willis? That guy, Gary. Anyway, Coleman. Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
I was about to say old.
He passed away, so it's still going, but it's not as good without having the original.
Right.
The original cast is, in my opinion, the best, but it is so anti-PC that you will love it.
All right, I'm all over it. I'm all over that. Yeah.
Like they literally have a song about Schadenfreude. The laughing about terrible things happening to people.
Yeah.
Everyone's a little bit racist.
Internet is for
Internet is for porn, and
Yeah,
it's done as an adult Sesame Street.
right. Yeah.
So a lot of the characters are puppets with normal people.
Wait, no, I'm sure I have. Hang on. Is this? Oh, it's no. Right. Okay. No, I think I've seen something like it. But yes, all right. Yeah, you've sold it to me. You've completely sold it to me. Like next time you need to, like, they need to advertise this. They should get you on to just explain it because I'm all over this. Yeah, that sounds wicked.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I was actually just listening to it again. The other day. It's so funny. It's so funny. Um. Oh, there's a Bert and Ernie parody characters in it, right?
Yeah.
And there is literally called a song "If You Were Gay."
Yes, I know that.
It is phenomenally hilarious.
Brilliant.
Oh, and the characters is the high strung. So you have one of them. He's the Bert representative is a is a is a what is it? He is a conservative Republican Wall Street, money making guy who's obviously
Right.
gay. So
Yeah.
obviously gay with his roommate best friend who is straight, left wing,
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's so funny.
Next
I
time somebody
highly
asks me what I
recommend
do for a job, though, next time someone asks me what I do for a job, I'm definitely going to say I'm a Bert representative, like just to see the look on their face, see them trying to work it out, because that sounds like the greatest job.
Oh man! Well, you gotta remember they're puppeteers on the thing and a voice actor. Like the puppeteer's the voice actor,
Brilliant.
so it's great. Let's see here. What else? Uh, anyways, let's get back on topic because we went like way off.
We
So,
do tangent.
so actually, like I said, having Ashley like how she grew up and everything like that, I think. Why don't you tell us what it was like for school at you, like for you and everything like that, growing up in?
Well, to be really, really blunt and to the point, I was definitely the stereotypical kid who was in the back of the class as far as they could be, away from everyone and not talk to anyone because I thought it would be better that way. Because talking to people meant I would be bullied, and talking to people also meant other people would see that and take that as a way to bully me too. It got to a point where I didn't feel like I could look at anyone without them trying to get after me. I already tried changing the way I talked and laughed because I was being bullied for the way I did. And then it got to a point where I was like, wait, if I just don't talk or laugh, they have nothing to use against me. So I did nothing. I did as little as I could, so I wouldn't have any chances to be bullied for what I do.
Did it work?
No.
Of course, didn't. Actually, the best time she had at school was those last couple of months.
When I did shit.
Well, no. It's after meeting me and going through the stuff. Like she was eating. People were like, she was being more friendly, open, talking. She had actually changed because she changed her whole outlook in what she was doing, and again, what bullies go after is weakness.
Right. And I was in such a bad condition at the time that when lunch rolled around, I wouldn't eat anything. Because I honestly I hated being around people. Going through the lunch line gave me so much anxiety that I felt like I was going to have an anxiety attack just going through it. So I would skip it all and go and sit outside instead on my own. And then a few friends of mine, I only had like 3, but I wouldn't even call them friends because I never actually opened up to them at all about anything. But they did stick around and they would try and follow me outside. And we would just talk there. But a lot of the times, like, I wasn't talking. I would just be on my phone or something, doing anything else, drawing, whatever I could, because I just didn't know how to communicate. And going to different classes and stuff would be the same thing. If I was with any friends, I wouldn't really talk to them that much. I would do my best to stay quiet, do my work, finish, and draw. That's all I could do.
So, what was the biggest thing you noticed and changed when you actually, after that Christmas and everything like that, went back to school and started eating and you started sitting at the lunch table, and you started opening up with like Danielle and
yeah, what changed was, well, meeting you first off, and you kind of taught me that if things go wrong, fuck it. They're probably not worth my time anyways. So
I see
just
now.
live what I want to, do what I want to, fuck other people. It'll be
stuff like
okay.
that. I mean, I did say fuck them, but I did specify.
Fuck them.
But okay,
If
you
they
were saying
want to nitpick
I
what I
see.
do in a negative way, they are not worth my time. They don't care about me. They don't care about what I do. I don't care about them.
But see,
fair.
I would say that is finding somebody who believes in you enough to make you believe in yourself, because that is confidence. That is nothing else short of finally being able to break yourself out of the mind state of being like, well, it matters because I rely on these people. See, the difference between before and after in that one scenario for me, in my eyes, and I, obviously I only hear what you tell me, is that you went from being like, I need to, like, my survival is based on keeping my head down and making sure I'm not noticeable, to realizing that my survival is doing whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah,
So, and
use
that
the word
comes from a
confidence,
reliance
though.
and a belief in yourself.
Again, I wouldn't use the word confidence. It's more of I stopped giving a shit about other people who didn't give a shit about me.
You mean
Like I said,
confidence? You mean confidence?
no.
But you
literally
were
don't.
confident, because even if your confidence was based in the fact that it didn't matter if they like you, because when you go home at the end of the day, you've got somebody who likes you anyway, so it doesn't matter. That is a form of confidence, whether or not you whether it's confidence in yourself or confidence in your situation, because you're finally comfortable in where where your hat lays. Like, then what does it matter what anyone else thinks or what anyone else says or what anyone else does? Like, so even though you wouldn't aspire it to your self-confidence, it's a confidence that you found through finding something that made you happy.
I can't disagree with you, but the only thing I would disagree on is
Because I'm right.
To be really honest, like I was still in that shift of mindset where I didn't care. I didn't care about a lot of things, even when I was getting bullied. I was so dulled down that I didn't care if others actually liked me or disliked me, but I still had that anxiety of, wait, what if they don't like me? This one's a bit morbid, but here's another example. My grandpa on my stepdad's side, I actually liked him. We called him Papa Frost because his last name was Frost, and he passed away. So we went to his wake and went to see him, and the only thing that came to my mind wasn't to say, like, my last regards to him or cry or whatever. It was to poke the corpse to see if it was actually cold. And then leave. I didn't cry or anything. It was just, oh, he's dead. Wait, is he actually that cold? Wow, he's really yellow. That was my mindset.
I mean, you're Ginger, right?
Yes, but
Sorry, I'm just trying to make light of the situation. I mean, like,
oh no,
that's
you're
Yeah,
dark.
good.
It's pretty
But
dark. It's fucking
yeah.
hilarious,
yeah,
but it's dark
I
as
know,
fuck.
I agree.
I can give you some outside information on what was going on in her life because she's bad at explaining things, and
All right, you do that.
no,
All right, you do that. I'm bad at explaining things. How about you give it a try?
You
Oh,
go on, mansplain it for us.
I will absolutely, man. Well, actually, this is something that even you guys have taught is that is you're usually a bad judge of your character when you're on the inside of it. So yeah, no, she actually gained a lot of confidence because she gained a backbone. She doesn't see gaining a backbone as confidence.
Because it's not confidence.
You know, she went from having a very abusive relationships to another abusive relationship. And before she went back to school, this is before we started dating or anything like that, but you know, she finally looked at her life and the things that was happening and like the stuff that this guy was doing, that what people were doing to her, and she made a decision for herself, you know, and decided to stick to it. Now, other people decided to also get involved, but you know, the point was like, you know, when she finally went back to school, finally had the backbone to not put up with people's bullshit.
Yeah.
And it made a big difference. You were also talking to your friends more and actually gaining real relationships with them. But this also took her getting away from all the poisonous apples.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's a lot of life at the moment. Anyway, I think that's a lot of life. Full
yeah,
stop. You know, I don't think that matters between generations. I just think that unfortunately for Ash, you know, you're in a generation where there seems to be more bad apples than there are good. There seems to be, and it's not necessarily that they're all bad, it's just they're so misguided and misleaded, and everyone isn't that, you know, for as much as you're withdrawn, everyone else is withdrawn as well. Everyone else is like losing what it is to be a person and a bit of humanity with every day that you remove yourselves from people. Right, you know, it's just easy to do it when you're not face to face with people all the time, and the more you withdraw from that, the easier it gets. And that's not just you; that's the people on the buddy side of it. You
yeah.
know, they get colder. They get colder in the same way that you get colder towards it.
Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah, that's
it's
absolutely fair.
it's a tough world out there at the moment. It's full of
Well,
fucking idiots for a start.
well, that's actually the thing with like my bullies. Like you said, I actually, even when I was still in school, I did befriend that last year. You know, I did befriend some of them, and yeah, some of them apologized after the fact. But one thing I noticed that I just recognized that we all have problems, and that a lot of them go through the same stuff of worrying and not, you know, again when they're with their friends, they have to not show weakness. Things like, you know, at least that was like back in my day, was what it was like here in America, and it's just one of those things that everyone goes through this, and but the answer is always the same that I always tell people. It's like, hey, you need to take your life upon yourself. You know, you need to start, if you don't have the adults, or if you don't have the people who are inspiring you, lifting you, you need to find that within yourself and go out and find people. You know, like one of the things is I really do believe in most people, even bad people, because I'm not, in a lot of ways, I'm not much different from them. What I had to do to get where I was. Like I said, a lot of darkness was required, and I think it's okay to talk about stuff like that. Like some people don't want to hear this stuff, but that's the reality of it. And I think some people need to hear that. That, you know, that even if you have made mistakes, that there is a way forward.
Yeah.
And that time, if things aren't going well now, time will change. And the more that you try to find self mastery, the more you put the effort for yourself, regardless of anyone else, you will find those things. You will find the things that you need. I know I did.
Yeah.
Anyways, one thing before anything, because I just now noticed this message. Gunther, we are not a replacement for therapy.
I noticed that a while ago. It's just I didn't want to interrupt anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not just the whole thing. We are not. We are. None of us are.
Yeah. Full disclosure, Gunther, none of us have any idea what the fuck we're doing either. we're trying to work it out the best we can, but it's that, you know, for everything you know, you find something you don't know. So
if I have anything I could say on this thing is that if you're not happy with the therapy you're finding, you can always find another therapist. Like, I think that's a normal thing to say. You know, therapy, just like anything else, including what I do, it requires a certain level of your own, your own input and desire to change, and the work that you put in, and the work that you like. My only complaint about therapy is people who don't do anything outside of therapy, only to come and then use that moment when you should be doing it every moment of your life. The point of therapy is supposed to help you work out those things in your head. But if you're only going in and dealing with the problems while in therapy, you're not actually dealing with the problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, like, I would also argue that for the money that you pay for a therapist, that you know, it's only one person's opinion, and realistically, you only need a nudge and some self-affirmation and some techniques to learn how to manage certain things, which, to be honest, you don't need to see a therapist, I wouldn't say, for a particularly long time. I think it's as much an inward journey as it is anything else. And definitely don't become reliant if you're sort of struggling through any bad points. Don't allow yourself to become reliant on antidepressants, because they are good and they are a quick fix and they do bounce you back, but they are not the answer. And they should never be the long-term answer. They should only be the thing that pulls you out of the bad space if you really need it. You know.
Yeah, I don't have anything involved in that because I've never taken antidepressants, and I've never taken. I did through my whole journey. I never did drugs or take antidepressants. I never used a stimulant or anything to get me through this stuff that I go through. You know.
Well, I gave in after so many years because it'd been pushed on me for many years. Like, the doctors constantly offering it to me and me turning it down, and then it got to a point where it was like I was really not coping, like, with work sort of thing. Like, I have to go earn money, but going in is causing me a lot of issues. And I'm physically reacting to it, so I need something to help me take the edge off of that. That was the only time when I gave into it. But I've seen people who have been long-term users of antidepressants, and what it does in the short term, it takes in the long term. So, you know, there is no quick answer. There is no real quick fix. It is a case of there is a journey that you need to go on, and how you go through that is your choice. And you know, and yes, there are people out there who can help you with it, but it is a journey that you have to take the first step on, the last step on, and have to be willing every step of the way, and that's the hardest part.
It is. It absolutely is, to take that personal responsibility on your shoulders. You know, but like I said, there's a lot to be said about taking a journey like that. Like the idea of being that lone person in a desert. You know, the adversities and everything like that. They're, as I found, only for my own, you know, input and seeing quite a few other people that I follow, is like there usually is good on the other side. The problem is that you're going to deal with a lot more bad before you find that good.
Yeah.
But that's part of life, right?
Yeah, and they are intrinsically linked as well. Like, there is no bad without good. There is a flip side to it. Always remember that no matter how crappy you're feeling, there will eventually be a flip side to it, because there has to be. You have to, and when it comes, it will be sweeter than ever. I promise.
Yeah. Anyways, I think our hour is up. So this.
Oh my goodness!
Wonderful
that flew by.
It did
Okay.
fly by. We had some really good conversations and like that. And
Had a good giggle every now and again.
yep. We also, obviously went on rants like normal.
And we obviously made fun of each other.
We definitely need to slowly increase the time or do this more often.
Yeah, yeah. And as Ash said before, Ash did ask before we started, what are we going to be talking about? I said life, the universe, and everything, and I think that's kind of what we did today.
Right?
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
I
we
was
had
spot on
a
with my
topic in mind,
description.
apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
It's no problem, Callie. Everyone who came on, thank you for coming on and everything like that. Definitely can re-listen to it if you missed it. If I leave one thing, especially for younger people, don't give up. Don't fall to all of the things. Like, terrible things happen to everybody. And
Yeah.
one way or another, and some of us have easy ways of dealing with it, some of us never deal with it, and everything like that, but it is still better to fight and work towards it and realize that, again, there's always another day. Like, these are things that we know to be true in human history and us. That day could be a year. I'm just saying, a day to
I also think there's something really important to say to anybody that is young enough to still be going through school through all of this, and that is that there's never been a point in time where the people who were on top in school were the ones who are on top for the rest of their lives. Things change, like people
Yeah.
change, everything changes. What the status quo today is not what it's going to be in 2 weeks' time, 2 years' time, 10 years' time. You've just got to let time pass and be
Yeah.
patient.
Oh, and definitely another thing. You know, also realize that who you are now isn't who you're going to be at 21, who you're going to be at 30, who you're going to be at 40. I mean, just in 4 years, I have changed drastically from who I was when I turned 30. You got Ashley here, who's changed drastically since she,
In just, what,
a
2
year and a half?
years?
Not even 2 yet. We're almost there. But yeah, so it's all good. Seriously,
Yeah.
everything, but it's not going to get better by just hoping it gets better. You have to take that life by the horns.
Mm.
And sometimes you have to kick, like, life is going to kick you down, just kick back.
it is it is going to do that, but there will be times when you will be turning around and
When life gives
poking
you lemons,
life
turn
on
to
the
an
shoulder
in
and
the balls.
I was going to say poke life on the shoulder and then sucker punch it.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
There are going to be times when you are going to be on top and life isn't going to know what to do with itself, so you just got to wait for it. Well, you got to work towards it and you got to be patient.
Yep.
you gotta work towards that moment.
Yep.
The moment
Mhm.
of revenge.
And one other thing, definitely go out and try to meet people, meet new people the best you can. No matter, I know that it's gonna suck and it's gonna be hard, but find people, like, find ideals and stuff that you agree with or that sound good. Test them out, see if they work. Don't just fall into an idea and say, okay, especially don't follow the crowd. Again,
And
something that we used to be.
change.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if an idea fails, be open to go back and say, okay, let's change this up. Let's do something different. Let's find what actually works. Don't just go into an idea and it's failing, but stick to it. If it's failing, it's failing. No one to give in to that.
You have some personal
No.
experience.
No.
Share.
No.
No. Do anything else
No.
than what you're doing.
Hey.
What?
Uh,
No, this is a
No.
good thing. See, she's already given up. See, don't do what she's doing. Because even though I just prodded her a little bit. Ow! Definitely do not attack the person who's just Stop it.
Feel the Hershey's.
That out of context does not make any sense.
Mm.
He's throwing chocolate at me. Anyways, well, we're gonna be closing up now. I guess that is the final word. So, all right. Well, how did you guys enjoy today?
Oh, I
It's
loved it.
alright. I mean, I got to make fun of you over live in that feed.
Yes.
So, mission accomplished.
You know,
I-
eventually they're gonna think you're actually abusive. You know, right?
You can think that.
You're gonna get swatted live on air.
Oh no, they found me.
All right. So how about this real quick before we finally get off? Don't know exactly, but what would you guys think about talking about next week?
Ooh. Life's the universe and everything again.
Eh.
I suck.
He's I mean, we talked a bit about it today. Why don't we do it?
That's a good point. We should both double team Morgan about getting more music out.
Oh, no.
We should talk all about it next stream.
Oh yeah, we're getting punished.
And we can tie it into doing dreams and what is necessary.
Go. We have
Okay.
a topic.
Don't worry, we're all gonna get involved in this one because we get to talk about Ashley's art.
No.
Brilliant. Yeah, and your podcasting and everything else that goes along with it.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
we're still waiting on.
So we'll talk about that later. Anyways, all right. Say bye, Ashley. Morgan.
See you later, guys.
All right, and that is it for today. Well, thank you again for coming to our third podcast. This is the Spoken Word with Raz. You guys have a wonderful morning, day, evening, whatever time it is. Have a good one.